Today we'll be going through some of the new features on the Tableau latest update, Tableau 2020.4, and so these are again to point out, these are only few of the updates. Will not go through all of them. So normally Tableau releases updates throughout its project suite. So Tableau server, Tableau online, everything, Tableau prep, everything. So, but we'll only focus on few selected which are most relevant to the work or the project that we handle. Okay, so the first update the Tableau has brought in 2024, in fact the major attraction was the Tableau prep on Tableau online. So if you guys are aware about the Tableau product suite, we have Tableau desktop, Tableau prep, and the Tableau online. Tableau online is a web version, Tableau online or Tableau server. So it's like a web version of Tableau desktop, where you can create dashboards as well, and also publish the created dashboards in Tableau desktop. But the small catch here is on Tableau online there are certain limitations. Of course you can create some basic to intermediate level visualizations and dashboards, but it will not give you a complete flexibility to manipulate or maneuver the visualizations as Tableau desktop does. So and earlier in Tableau online the web version doesn't have Tableau prep, but as of now in the latest update what they've done is they've added Tableau prep also to Tableau online. So before getting into how we can use it and all, let's see what are its applications and how it can be helpful. So if you would have worked on Tableau projects, especially developing dashboards, you might have gone into a situation where you have to format the data into a certain shape in order to enable certain visualizations in Tableau desktop. So you need to transform and manipulate the data, and obviously for that you will rely on SQL, right? So you will go to SQL, you will create a view or a store procedure that will format the data in the right shape as you required, and the output that you'll pull it out in the Tableau desktop and work on that to get the visualizations. The main use that Tableau prep can do here is it can help you basically avoid the step of going into SQL and writing the query for a store procedure or view in order to bring it into the right shape for your data visualization. So as you guys already know, Jairam is taking few sessions on Tableau prep, and we are starting to see how powerful this data cleaning and data manipulation tool is. So now that we can do in Tableau, let's see a quick example. So this is a Tableau online for one of our clients. We'll not be showing any client related data as of this call. So if you have a Tableau online account, normally this tip is only for when you're working on projects. If the client has Tableau online account and you need something to be done on Tableau prep, you need not purchase Tableau prep license altogether separately. You can come here to Tableau online and work on this. So if I go to, this is like a home page in Tableau online as when you sign in to Tableau online account, and when I click on new, these are the following options that I have. A Tableau workbook. So this is this will again take you, this is something that we already know. You can create workbook here on web, and there is something called Tableau flow which is recently added. Now when I click flow, it will take me to a Tableau prep environment in a new tab. Let's wait for it to load. So yeah, so it asks us to connect to the data. Let me click here, and this is something again. This is will not go much into the usage of Tableau prep. I'm just letting us know that there is a feature available in Tableau online. So for the time being, let's just quickly connect to some sample data. Samples equals to data. And Yeah, this is just like the Tableau prep in the desktop. So we have all the sheets in the Excel file that we have connected. I'll drag the order sheet onto the view, and it automatically gives me the same interface. And let's do some simple cleaning, and let's see how we can go after doing whatever the flow that which we can do. Let me just add a simple clean step, and
So quickly, Jagadish, are there any stated limitations for the web version of Tableau Prep?
Yes, we do have certain limitations. I'll talk about it at the end, maybe.
Okay, yeah, super.
In a minute or something.
Oh yeah, perfect.
So let me just exclude this. And let me just output. So this is a simple sample flow that I've created for understanding purposes alone. So the reason here, I can create, I can use this data connection, the connections to add connection to connect to any SQL database or any other database that the client might be having, and I can pull the input tables and create all the necessary steps that which we are aware of in Tableau Prep. And use it to transform the data in the shape that which we want, and then at the end, once we have the output of what we decide, we have two options. So in Tableau Prep Desktop, we'll have the option to save the output as a CSV file. Okay. Talking about the limitations, I mentioned one limitation on Tableau Prep online is that you cannot save the output as a CSV file. You can either publish it on a database, either SQL database or any other database using publish to data source option, or you can publish the output as a data source on Tableau Online itself. So if I go to Tableau Online, I have something called data sources on Tableau Online. Just like how I have all the workbooks, all the data sources will also be here. Let me. Yeah. So as you saw just now, all the data sources. If I choose the database table, the output will be saved as one of the data sources on the Tableau Online account. Either of these two things would work fine. They are not a big limitation as of in terms of creating dashboards. You can connect to Tableau Online, this data source published on Tableau Online very easily, or also the data source that is published on any SQL database as well easily. So that shouldn't be a big limitation. So let me just publish on Tableau Online itself, and a database table. I'm sorry, this is the options are reversed. So database table will take you to the database, whereas the published data source will publish the on Tableau Online itself. So let me just name it sample test flow, and it'll ask you to on which folder do you want to put this file flow in, and you can also create full refresh. This is something which we will not get into as of now. Let me just click here and click publish, and new flow publish.
Jagdish, currently it's publishing as live connection, right?
Right. So let me talk about that as well. So the view is published, and let me go to the default, and this is the folder in which I paste the flow, and I can see that my flow has been I just created it, and my flow is visible here. Now talking about the live connection, the data though it's the connection is live, the data will not be automatically refreshed. Just like if you are familiar with the concept of store procedure or view in SQL database, every time you open the view or run the view, it'll automatically take into account all the added data from your last run and put that into the view output as well. But whereas here you need one additional step. You'll not one additional step in order to achieve the same. So there is something called data management add-on. Okay, it's like an extension that you have to add on to your Tableau Online to enable that automatic refreshing of this new flow. Okay, so on a scheduled basis. So on a just like how our Tableau data source refreshes works on a certain frequency, just refresh the entire data source. We can set the using that data management add-on. People, you might be familiar with some other term called data prep conductor. So these are the two tools that help you schedule the refreshing of the data flow that you have created, and that keeps the data flow task to automatically get updated and keep the data alive. So any other question that Jairam that you have? And the data management add-on, it's slightly it costs a little. It's like $7 per user per month. Jairam, any questions, or did I answer the question?
Yeah, I got the
Right, got it.
also like we publish data source, right? But it's showing the flow. Like how is it generally in desktop version? If you publish only the final data source will be there.
Yeah, this
Either
is
as an
different.
extract
So
or-
right. So here you can connect to the Tableau flow as well in Tableau desktops.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me just go here and explore all data sources. Hopefully it will not be here. Yeah. So I think you can connect to. I'm not very sure on it, but there will be an option to connect to Tableau data flow tasks as well. It's not a complete clear-cut data source. It's slightly different from a normal data source that we publish. So this is one thing on Tableau prep, and let's just jump to Tableau desktop and see all the updates there. So this is the latest version Tableau desktop, Tableau 2020.4, and there are a couple of things or updates that we have here. Let me talk about them. So first thing is the second major interaction on Tableau desktop is the map. Is something on maps. If you guys have worked with maps on Tableau earlier, you might be aware there is something called multiple map layers. Okay, and normally how we achieve this is, let's say, so you have a sample superstore data here. Sample superstore data here, and these are my. Let me just pull up state level map. Okay, and change the type to map. I have a state level map, and let me color it by sales. Now, if you want to show some other detail, okay, if I click on state, it'll my state level information that which I had earlier is disappeared. Okay, I'm looking at now city level. If you want to look at both, there are a couple of options at which we have or which we are familiar with. One is you can use actions to enable drill down option. Okay, when you click on a particular state, you will go into cities of that particular state, etc. Or there is one more option that which we can, most of us are familiar with, is to create something like this. Okay, some dual axis sort of thing that will give you two layers of map. Okay, and in the second layer you can, instead of state, you can put the city level map, and then you use the dual axis option to enable this sort of overlapping of this city layer and state layer maps. Now this is something that which we are familiar with, and the restriction on this side is that we cannot use more than two layers. Okay, at a particular point in time you can only have maximum two layers. As of now we are having state and city, not more than two. But the new update on this one is, let's go, we can have, they have introduced something called map layers, and you can add any number of map layers as you wish. Let's see how it's done. So I'll go to my region and I'll make it as a map, and let me just color it by the same field. Right. Now I have a region level filter, and let's try to add all of this. Okay, state, city, and postal code, all of this. Now when I drag state, another geometric field, I can see something called as a add marks layer. Okay, and I drop it here, it will create the same thing. I have my region layer and my second layer as state layer. Okay, and all my dots are representing state. Now let me just color this. Color, put some border on it, and drag sales into size and adjust the size. Okay. So now I have region level information and state level sales information. Great. Now let's say I want to drag city as well. I'll drag city and add it into marks layers. Now I have city level information as well. Let me just change this to some other. Yeah, some color. So now I have 3 layers of information aligned, and I can even go to postal code as well. I can just go to postal code and adjust the size. Make the color to white, so it's like contrasting. And if I want, I can use since I have all the circles have been already used up, you can just select shape and give it a new shape. Okay, if I just format the style a little bit so I can view all the details more clearly. Yeah. So this is the other update. You can create any n number of layers of maps, one on the top of each other, and you can retain the information at each different level on single visualization. So that's one thing, and some other just minor add-ons to this feature is basically, obviously we have this icon here that's showing up. You can select it and unselect it to basically disappear that particular level. So if I have to uncheck region, all my region level information is lost, and I can show it or unshow any level of map layer. And again, the one other just tip here is basically if I see I'm trying to the way I place these layers, okay, it should be in a hierarchy. For example, what I mean by that, my region layer, which is the most aggregate layer, should be at the back. So because if it's on the top, when I'm trying to select any of these cities, let me just show it to you. Yeah, so just what happened here is I'm unable to select any of the states or cities just because all of those minor level of details are overlapped by the state level, the region level. So you should just follow the hierarchy so from small to big. Therefore you'll be able to select even the smallest postal code as well. So that is something. And one tip. The other tip is, let's say the region level information, right, the color is only for the context, only for visual information purpose, but not much to do with any selection. Okay, then you can you don't want the user to interact with this sort of region level, any particular map layer, then you can click here and disable selection. So now when I select, you'll not be able to see any tooltips or any selection, just like we saw earlier. So you can disable any selection for a particular map layer as well. So now I can check. Yeah, now I'm able to select the same as well. Hope this is clear. If you have any questions, you can let me know.
Jagdish, like for removing the layer you told, right, we can just click that eye icon.
Yeah.
Is there any way apart from this, can we control this by using parameters? when it comes to dashboard? Like,
as of now, I don't think so. So the only option is this particular eye icon, just to for you to maybe in the future, we don't know. As of now, this is the only control that which we have.
okay.
So that's the update on map. Let me see if I have anything here. Yeah, so this is all about the maps, and let's go to another new feature. Okay. Okay. So let me pull the order date and select. So the other feature that I wanted to talk about is something called date access extension. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that. Okay, same sample superstore data. Let me pull my order date and select continuous month. So if you observe, the last data point that I have is of December 2020, right? Now let me switch back to earlier version. Okay, this is the old version, and let me do the same. Pull order date and select the month of order date. Okay, here the last date is December 2013. Okay, now see when I so if you see the little symbol here, it's called caret normally. When I click the caret earlier, so these are the options that I used to have. Show missing values. I can select discrete part of the date or continuous part of the date, and some other normal options that we have that we are aware of. And now if I go to the newer version, there is something new that which we have added here, something called extend date range. Okay, and let me explain what that means. So extend date range, and as of now we have not selected it, so we have not turned on the feature, and I can select any of the options here by period of time, or I can go to custom and select any custom period that I am interested in to select the extend date range. Okay, now let me just what it does, let's see. Let's select for 6 months. Okay, nothing happened. Okay, something happened here. So if you see earlier, my last date was December 2021, but as of now I'm able to see some future dates. Okay, so think of a situation where your dashboard is live. Okay, always having the current data for and now you'll be able to see as on today data, and now you'll be able to see some dates in future as well. So this is 6 months into the future, June 2021. So, and this feature is if you look at it on a standalone basis, it might not make much sense, but this feature is supposed to be looked at with other functionalities in Tableau, like predictive modeling in Tableau or forecasting in Tableau, something like that. In those sort of cases, this was a very this was the limitation that many people had or faced. If there was a feature something like this, the data extension, it would have been better in the earlier version. So they've added this thing. Let's see how it works with respect to some predictive modeling and etc. So again, a few other points to note here. The data access extension will only work. This extended period will only come when you're working with either predictive modeling, number one, number two, or some certain type of table calculations. Okay, if you are aware of Tableau, there is a table calculation called moving average. Okay, let me just show that. So some sales, so have my line. So if you see, as soon as earlier, even though I'm having data access up until June 2021, when I put sales again, now I'm back to December 2020. There is no extended range. So the date extension is not always enabled. Only when you work with, when you enable certain type of functionality in Tableau, this date extension is allowed. So let me just pull this, duplicate this, and add the table calculation to table calculation moving average. Okay, and edit table calculation. Let's say as of now it's taking last two. Okay, now if we see the last point here is December 2020, and let's see what is the last point here, February 2021. It extended by two points, right? Now, but we have set the date extension to 6 months, but it only happened to 2 points up until February. The reason being the reason lies in the options that you had for the table calculation that you have chosen. So if you see here, we have only selected previous two, and to take the average for the next one, right? So for this point, it will take the average for last two. For this point, it will take the average for last two. Now, when it comes to February 2021, the last two data points are January and December 2020. Now, after February, when it goes to March, the average that it has to take is based on the two added data points. There is no original data point that is coming from the data source. Therefore, it will not create that March point. Okay, as long as in the average, where in the calculation of the average, if there is at least one data point that was from the original database data source, it will calculate. So let me just change this to 6. Okay, previous 6 months. Now what happens is, now let's see the last point. Now I got till June, because when I'm in June 2021, my December 2020 point is also included in the calculation of this point. So I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, that's one thing that you need to keep in mind when you're working data access extensions. And let's come to the actual main use case why this was introduced actually. So there is something called, let me open up this function. Let me first remove this. And yeah, this is my original sales. Let me open this function. As of now, don't worry about the function. We'll talk about this function a little later into the next coming sessions. But what you need to understand here is this function is a linear regression based predictive model, very primary model in Tableau that basically predicts the sales. Okay, what it's predicting the median. So don't worry about the syntax and all the parameters. Let me explain what it does. It predicts the median value of sales for each month. Okay, just as we have having month level sales graph, I'm just trying to see, hey, show me the prediction of median value of sales in each month. Okay, that's what it's trying to do. Let me click OK and drag this to and make it a dual axis. So my orange line is my sales, and my blue line that you can see is the median value for all the monthly level sales. And if you see, as soon as I used my product prediction, okay, my date is extended now. Okay, earlier when I haven't put it in, my last date was December 2020, and when I had this thing, my last date is now June 2021. So this is what it is supposed to be used for data extensions whenever you're using predictive models. And the option for using the predictive models in Tableau is just starting up. Okay, let me show you how you can access the predictive modeling functions. Okay, let's go to edit and click table calculation, and if you see, there are two functions called model percentile and model quantile. As of now, these are the two functions that enables predictive modeling in Tableau. And Tableau is trying to add even more flexibility into, and add more robustness to these models in terms of prediction power and all. So then, but they've as of now, with this data access extension option feature, they've created a proper pipeline to enable any further updates on any further improvements on this model, predictive modeling power and etc. that they can add on in the upcoming versions. So as of now, this is how it is supposed to work, data access extension and this. And let me just using that, I've also created a lower and upper quartile, and let me put the filter, and I know you got the gist of it, but I'm just trying to show here one We'll not get into much of the model working and all. We'll take it for the next session. But this is how the data access extension is supposed to work. And when you put filters as well, let's see how the data access extension works with filters quickly. And show filter. So here's, let me change this to so yeah, as of now I can see it is till December 2020. Now when I change this to December 2019, so from this filter it's going up until December 2020. So when you're working with filters as well, from the filter date, it will obviously go extend to the period that you have wanted it to extend. So okay, pretty common. And hope any questions on this particular feature, how it's working?
So when you extend the data access, will there be any like new rows or columns?
No,
the data points for extended.
No. See, okay. If you see the placement of the function, it's placed in a table calculation, right? That means it works on the data that which you already have these two functions which you already have on the visualization. It will not edit the original data source that which you have, but if you want the values, you can obviously get the values of it. You can just change it to text
faster.
Okay. You will get the values. Okay, that's not an issue. I think you are asking about this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. Okay, let me just close this. Right. So that's one thing. I think, yeah, those are the few updates, few major features that I thought were interesting, and minor couple of other features as well. So if you see, earlier when you're working on table any calculated fields in Tableau, if you have to write some comments or etc. documentation, you will have to go ahead with this approach, single line commenting. So if you have multiple lines, you have to do for everything like this. But Tableau has added recently in the new feature, multi-line commenting feature, just like how you do commenting in SQL. So this is a multi-line commenting feature, and all of this. So this is some other minor feature that which you have in Tableau 2020.4. And one other update. Let me actually. It's a minor one. Let me show that I'm closing it as well. Whenever you create a parameter, okay, now we are in old version on let me just create a parameter on dates. Okay, whenever you create a parameter on date, and we have three options here. Okay, all and list and range. So this basically allows you to what values that you want in that parameter. All means it will allow every date possible, and the list means only specific that you values that you have mentioned here or taken from some other field. A range is basically you provided a certain minimum and maximum date, and it will extrapolate all the dates in between those dates. So earlier we do not have a option to, let's say you have order date field and you want to catch the minimum and maximum and extrapolate all the dates in between, even though it's missing in the database. You can set it from order date here, and you can have all of this. The parameter will update, give you the days between this minimum and maximum. But the problem with this approach earlier is whenever you publish this dashboard on online, so we have 2013 as of now, right? Think of 1 month in the future. Now this date will be fixed, this maximum will always be fixed, so it will not so when we go 1 month into the future after publishing the dashboard, you have to manually come and update this parameter maximum value for it to show all the 1 month values that were added from your last editing of the parameter. Okay, so that's one issue that which was earlier in the earlier versions, but what as of now what they've done is let's quickly see order date parameter. Have already created the parameter here. We have something called in the same setting range, they have given this minor option whenever workbook opens. So what it does is whenever data source on which the Tableau workbook is created, if it's get refreshed, or whenever the workbook is open, it will look for new minimum and maximum. Okay, it will look for new minimum and maximum every time the workbook is open, and based on that it will extrapolate all the values. So yeah, so that's one minor thing, but yeah, those are the few things that I have for today.